Hi and welcome back to the Jen and Sean Show. I'm Sean.
I'm Jen.
And if you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. In this video, we're packing for our next Japan trip, but with one big twist. Let's get into it.
Let's go. We are just over a week. Actually, we're dead on a week away now from leaving for our third trip to Japan.
And I'm crapping my pants.
We've got most of our stuff packed, ready to go, much more organised than previous trips. This trip, we're making a very concerted effort to travel light. And when I say light, I mean really light. So light, in fact, that we are spending the first 4 days of our trip in the hustle and bustle of Tokyo with only one backpack each.
Telling me's dreaming.
I don't know if I signed up for this.
It's going to be interesting. The only time we've done a one backpack stay before was last year when we went to Miyajima. Have a look back at that video if you haven't seen that one yet. But we stayed there for one night on the island, took a backpack with us, and still managed to forget our toothbrushes. So
yeah, so we don't have a great track record for travelling light at all.
No.
We're heading to the snow country as we do every year. So that means we travel not light.
No.
We have everything in terms of taking our own gear, and what do we have left over in order to bring back all the goodies and treats that you have to bring back from Japan?
Because Japan, yeah.
Exactly.
So our itinerary this time, we're in Tokyo for 4 days, as I said. Then we're heading straight to Hakuba, snow country, for 8 days. We're then going to be down in Yudanaka and Joetsu for 5 days all up. There's actually a bit of a side quest for another big project that we're working on. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button as well so that you get all the updates, because there's some really exciting stuff coming on that.
We'll give you a little bit of a hint at the end of this one.
A smidgen at the end of this
smidge.
one. After that, then we're off to Osaka for 3 days, Wakayama for 3 days, and we finish up with 4 days in Fukuoka. Now, this is the busiest trip that we've ever done. There's a hell of a lot of commuting to fit into that, so it's not really going to be relaxing. We're not those type of people that go on holidays to wind down and relax. It's just more adventures, really. We always use Yamato Transport. That's also known as Black Cat, which is their amazingly efficient luggage forwarding service. But normally we're just sending our snowboard bag ahead of us from the airport. So generally we will land at the airport, go straight to the Yamato counter, book the snowboard bag in and send that to Hakuba.
I think it's about $37. They will send it to Narita Airport for us, and they will actually hold it there until we fly out in 10 days' time. So it saves us having to drag it halfway around the country, which is just amazing.
It usually arrives about the same day or a day ahead of us when we get there. They deliver it straight to the lodge so that when we arrive, it's waiting there for us, which is so much easier because I cannot even comprehend the nightmare that would be trying to drag that thing through public trains, crowded buses, any of that sort of stuff. So this time we're still sending the snowboard bag. However, we are also sending our 2 full-size suitcases. Anything that's packed in those, we're not going to have access to until 5 days after we land. Now we've got our total baggage allowance with Qantas is 60 kilos checked baggage between us. There's no limit on how many bags that can be, as long as it's 30 kilos each. So, and that sounds like a lot. When you factor in our boards, our snow gear and normal clothes, that gets eaten away pretty quickly.
But that weighs just over 23 kilos. And again, if you're following along, 60 kilos taking away 23 leaves 37 between 2 suitcases. So 18 and a half each, roughly.
Each one currently, we're just under 12 kilos, which is actually...
With our gear in it. Yeah, so our gear at the moment.
This is the suitcases.
Yeah.
Yeah, with our stuff in it. I don't think I've ever travelled that light, just quietly.
It's pretty incredible. But we have started packing, or we did start packing about 2 weeks out before leaving. So we've been putting stuff in, taking stuff
back out,
as we've sort of got closer to our kickoff. But it's the backpacks are the real clincher here.
Yeah.
But what's the secret weapon we have?
Well, there's 2 with this one. The first one is obviously the size and dimensions of your backpack and the layout of it. The second one, which is my saviour, packing cubes.
You love a good packing
I
cube.
love a good packing cube. These ones that we're using this time, we got from Costco. They are those compression ones. So you put everything in and then there's a second zip that squashes everything down a bit more. So in my small one, which is, it fits perfectly into the bottom half of the main compartment of my backpack, I've got 4 days worth of underwear and socks. So that's 4 base layer shirts, which is my Uniqlo Heat Tech, my ride or die. 2 T-shirts, 1 pair of jeans. There's 1 jumper that I'll be taking with me on the plane and 1 pair of shoes that I'll be wearing.
Do you feel you got enough?
No.
And that's a constant worry.
No, but I know that we're shopping on day one.
That is, I think, the third secret weapon here.
Yeah.
Look where we're travelling to.
When you're going to Japan, you don't need to take all your stuff. You just buy stuff when you get there because it's so affordable.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
the
just look at the
quality's
place.
amazing.
You can fall into retail just by
Everywhere.
stepping off a bus or
Yeah.
a train. So it's all
You can
there.
buy clothes at Family Mart for crying out loud.
I feel these 4 days are really built around me. I can happily sit in jeans for many, many days and, wearing underwear, turning them inside out, sideways, back to front. You can get a lot of days out of a pair of underwear.
No, 1 day out of 1 pair.
But I'm excited for the challenge. I really am. I
Yeah.
feel that, yes, I am packing more than 1 pair of underwear. Thanks, Mum.
The only time that you really need to be dressed for the elements is when you're outside. As soon as you walk into train stations, shopping centres, cafes, convenies, wherever you're going, they're all heated. So you don't need to be 17 layers deep. It's literally only when you're walking around outside.
Yeah. So aside from clothes, what else are we taking?
Bare minimum in skincare and toiletries. Again, because we're shopping and I know that I'm stocking up on things that have actually lasted me since the last trip. The non-negotiables though, antiperspirant deodorant and toothpaste. The ones they sell in Japan are not that great.
Yeah, true.
So I've made sure that we've got both of those. I will take my laptop and charger. Got some travel adapters in there, a power board that we can use to charge everything up, and a little charging station that I got on Amazon. And then our passports, wallets, camera, all that sort of stuff is just going to be in our trusty little travel bag that we take with us.
Feel like this is pretty achievable really with the backpacks that we have and what we've actually got in there. But so we've looked at a few other different options on how to get stuff back. Buying excess luggage before your flight is probably the second best way to get stuff back. It's on par with sending it via airmail.
Yep.
If you send parcels via land, it'll be 50% cheaper, but take 2 months,
2 months it
to
took us last time.
arrive.
Yeah.
If you're happy sending things that you don't need right away, go for it. It's actually a pretty cool and easy experience. The third option you have is you could actually use like a global courier. They are very expensive, but they will get back very quickly and they're actually quite easy to arrange.
I'm thinking this time I'll probably buy an extra 5 kilos before we come home. And then we'll be sending stuff as well,
Yep.
which will still be okay. But yeah, definitely check that before you go because you don't want to be paying for that stuff at the airport. The 4 days in one backpack thing, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be interesting. So we'll let you know how we go with that. We are going to be hiring a car for 5 days after we leave Huckabah, so we only have to worry about the bus back to Nagano. From there, we're going to be picking up a car to go to Yudanaka and Joetsu.
Bus of Japan, like we need it anymore. We've just pulled over to get some petrol before we take the rental car back. We're sitting in the car while the nice people
Giving us a full service.
are doing all the work.
Yeah.
So again, not really having to worry too much about luggage. We
No.
can just chuck it in the boot. And those little K cars are surprisingly roomy. Another thing that's going to make it easy or easier to be living out of a very small bag for several days is the fact that most hotels have got a laundry on site. It's a coin laundry, so you still have to pay for it. Generally, it's 100 yen per load, and they'll have dryers there as well. Even if they don't, there are coin laundries everywhere. Even in small little towns, you'll find a coin laundry. And
Making our life hopefully a lot easier.
yes.
With that, I feel that we're up to the challenge of using a backpack for 4 days in Tokyo. What we'll leave you with is some really huge news. Our next series of episodes will have a big focus on our project that is probably going to take us definitely months, but even years potentially to come off. But what we have going on is a hunt for an Akia.
Yeah.
This is a huge step for us to have our longer term plan of perhaps even setting up a business in Japan in the snow country. But our first step is to find a holiday home / potential Airbnb for further down the line. And we've done some interesting research in terms of doing that. But our new episodes will be following along that particular journey. And this is really exciting, scary, but really exciting.
There's a lot to discover. There's a hell of a lot to learn, and there's a lot involved. It's definitely not a straightforward process, and I don't think it's going to be a particularly quick process, but I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Excitement of having something over there, the excitement of, having a base in another country, which we love going to, but the seriousness of spending money almost wholly remotely, third parties that may or may not assist, and look at costs of that, and then do we end up buying a lemon?
That's it.
And
cultural
sinking
aspects
money
as well.
is massive.
There's a little bit of there could be a little bit of a stigma in certain areas about, foreigners coming in and buying everything up. So we want to make sure that wherever we decide on is going to be somewhere that we can integrate into the community, become involved, embracing everything that the country and the culture's got to offer.
Yeah. So we want to share this journey. There's going to be many highs and lows, no doubt. And hopefully some insights for you as well if you're interested in going down that pathway or just want to see what it's like for people like us having a go at a bit of a big sea change at our age. So hold on to your butts. There's more to come. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps our channel for longevity, and it gives us a big moral boost when we do see new subscribers and comments and likes. So,
and then you'll be able to follow along with our trip and see how we did with our 4 days in a backpack.
yeah, exactly. Do we live? Do we die?
Exciting times.
Do we grow a Grogu in there? Who knows?
Did you run out of underpants? Who knows?
Well, it's probably likely if I only put 2 pairs in, but we'll see. All right. Thanks again for listening, watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.